Hello guys, welcome back to another lecture in this course. In this video, I shall be explaining and demonstrating about Python data types. So a data type in Python is a classification of data that tells the interpreter how the programmer intends to use the data. They tell or describe the type of values that variables can store and the operations that can be performed of those variables. In our previous lesson, we've been looking into variables. And we have said that variables, they can store strings, they can store floating values, they can store integers. So in this lesson, we shall be focusing only on the data types. So we have several types of data types in Python. For example, here we have integers as data types. We have integers as data types, and integers are whole numbers. For example, let us assign a value y is equals to 30. We have stored 30 in y, where 30 is a whole number, which is an integer. So we can print y here. So this is a data type, which is an integer number. And we have also a data type, which is a float number, a float data type. Let us call it x. X is equals to, a float number is a number which contains a decimal place. For example, let us say 5,502. This is a float number, and we can print this float data type as you can see here. We have also a complex number. A complex number, we can represent it by z is equals to, let us say 5 plus 3j. This is a complex number, and we can display the output as you can see here. And also we have strings as a data type. String data type. We have a string data type, and a string data type type a variable, then a string, let us say hello world, print string. So a string data type, what you can see is just printing the sequence of the character, like as it is hello world, just to retain the string. So string data types are used to display text. And we have Boolean data types. These are normally used for logical operations, and Boolean data types are representing only two values, either true or false, yes or no. So these are called Boolean data types. So for example, we are saying x is equals to true and y is equals to false. So this is called a Boolean data type. You can print x and y. Okay, let us print x only. Print x true. These are Boolean data types. So like I said, Boolean data types are values that can be either true or false. You can't get both, but either you can get true or you can get false. And we have also other data types, and this is a collection of data. In most cases, a collection of data types in Python. For example, we might have a list, we can have a tuple, we can have ranges, we can have a dictionary, we can have sets. For example, when we say lists in Python, let us take a look into this data type. It's called a list. It's a collection of data. Data which has been collected is represented in a square bracket. For example, let us say we have collected data. This is the data. We are going to store the data in a data variable is equals to. So list is represented by a square bracket. Then let us say you collect someone's name on your data, and you also collect 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe on the data that you are collecting, you collect apples. I don't know what you have collected, but these elements here, these are elements, the elements that you are seeing. The data in a list are called elements. So these elements, they are just representing the data that you have collected, and we have stored it in this variable called data. So now we can print the output, print data, as you can see here. So after printing the data, you can actually see that the data will be displayed as a list. As you can see, this is the output for the list. We have also another data type, and this data type is called a tuple. It's called a tuple or tuple. These are just immutable lists. Instead of putting a square bracket for the data, okay, instead of putting a square bracket here, let us just copy this so that we avoid repetition. Copy this and let us paste it here, and let us remove a square bracket and put a real bracket here, and let us close the bracket here. So when you are dealing with the tuple, we use actually a bracket. So now let us say data, and let us run this. So as you can see now, the data when you are using a tuple displayed using the brackets, which are different in a list. In a list we use a square bracket, but in a tuple or a tuple we use brackets. And also we have what we call a set and a dictionary. So in this video I shall be demonstrating only on a dictionary. Let us say dictionary. So in dictionary we are having a pair and an element. For example, let us call this dictionary data, or let us call it dict for dictionary. Dictionary is represented by a curly bracket. In this dictionary, let us have a key called a name. And with this key called a name, we are going to have a value which is the name of the person, Fanuel. Then we separate it by a comma. Let us say age, let's say 29. So let us visualize the dictionary. Then let us run our code. Right, as you can see here, this is the output of our dictionary, where this represents the column or the key of our data, and also this is the column or the key of our data, as well as this one is the value for the dictionary. So we are not going to look much into this area, since this is just the introduction section of our Python programming and machine learning. So as you can see here, these are the type of data types that we are having in Python. Thank you for watching. See you on the next lesson. Bye-bye.